Hi folks, a very welcome to you on this course Building Management System. Till now we have already learned that why we use BMS system and where do we use BMS system. In this brief course, first before diving deep into this learning, we will come across the overview of BMS system so that the next videos and the next learnings will be easy for us. Suppose in the facility we have a big tank of water and we want to control and monitor the level of water. So obviously we have two sensors here, okay, and we have one water line through which water comes inside this tank. There is a valve which controls the water inside the line. In order to control the water and monitor the water inside these tanks, we have a controller. In our case, we have DTC, direct digital controller, right? Suppose there is no water, the tank is empty. So this sensor will tell the DDC that this tank is empty. So signal comes from this sensor to the DDC and goes to DDC. This signal is called input signal. So this can be analog input or binary input or digital input. Once the DDC will come to know that this tank is empty, it will order or it will command this valve to open. It will actuate the valve, right? So the signal comes out from the DDC. So these types of signals are called output signals, right? So it can be analog output, digital output, or binary output signal. Once the tank is full, this device or this sensor will ask the DDC or will inform the DDC. So again the signal is coming from this device to DDC. So this is input signal for DDC, right? So it can be analog input, binary input, digital input, like this. Again, when the DDC will come to know that the tank is full now, then it will ask or it will command the actuator to close the valve. Again, this is analog output or digital output or binary output signals. So how many types of signals? There are basically two types of signals, input signals and output signals, and it can be further divided into analog, binary, and digital. So these things are going to be controlled like this, in this manner. Things we need to know here, these devices like sensors and here actuators, these are called field devices which are installed inside the fielding. These devices are called field devices. Now, how these field devices are going to communicate with the DDC? So they need a language. Here they are using RS485 communication protocol or language. Here in the DDC there is a port which is called RS485 port, and through this port this bunch of wires are connected from field devices to DDC. And the communication here, the language, the protocol here is RS485. These wires have special specification. They are twisted pair. For every signal, for status we have 2 wires, for command we have 2 wires, right? So they are twisted pair wires and the communication is RS485 protocol. This is only one example of the system of water tank. This is water tank. We might have many kinds of systems inside a building, right? So it can be chiller, it can be pumps, it can be HU, it can be VFDs, right? It can be FCUs. Suppose the water in this tank is full. For chiller we need water, right? So for every system, let us take a DDC. For AHU we have DDC, for VFD we have DDC, for this we have DDC. For every system we have DDC, direct digital controller, to control these systems, right? So there are a bunch of wires which are going to be connected from field devices to the DDC, right? Now if this chiller wants to know either this tank is full or not, how this will communicate with this tank? It cannot communicate directly. The DDC of this chiller will communicate the DDC of the water tank, right? If the chiller will run In order to run the chiller, we need to run the pump. So how we know the chiller is ready to run? So the DDC of pump will have to be connected to the DDC of chiller. We want to run the HU. If there is no water inside the cooling coil of HU, right? So how can we run the HU? In order to torque this HU with the chiller or with the chilled water valve, we need to torque this DDC to this DDC, right? In order to run the fan inside the HU, we need to torque the DDC of VFD to the DDC to the motor of the HU, right? So I want to say, or I want to just tell you that all the DDC are connected with each other, right? They are connected. So through which medium, through which language they are talking to with each other? Here there are different kinds of protocol, different kinds of communication protocols or languages. It might be BACnet, Building Automation Control Network, right? It might be Modbus, Profibus. There are different kinds of communication protocol which are vary from vendor to vendor, from company to company, right? Now, if we want to know these DDC are connected with different kinds of wires. These wires are called communication cables. Communication cables. Right. These wires from field device to DDC, they are control cables, and these wires are called communication cables. And they are connected with different kinds of topologies. Right. There might be a daisy chain topology. Right. In and out, from this to this DDC, in, the wire comes here, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, right? So in daisy chain topology, there are three wires. One wire come here and second wire goes from this in and out, right? So here from field device to DDC, there are different protocol and they're different cable, and from DDC to DDC, for talking with each other, there are different communication protocol and there is a different kind of cable. Suppose we want to know the status and we want to monitor and control all this system through our workstation here. Suppose there is a workstation here. I am sitting just in front of the workstation and I want to know the status of water system, chiller system, pumps, HUs, VFDs and FCU on this workstation. How it is possible? Here the protocol is different, but in our system we can use, suppose, CPU of the system, right? So we can use only LAN cable and we use only TCP over IP cloud, TCP over IP cloud, or TCP over IP, transmission control protocol over internet protocol. So this is our LAN. Every data comes from this LAN to our system workstation. This workstation will have two servers, one main and one copy, and they are looped together. These servers will be connected to this cloud with a Cat5 or Cat6 cable through RJ45 port. RJ45 port, and in turn this one of the servers will be connected to this CPU of this workstation, and we will get the data of all the things of all the systems to our workstation. But there is a different kind of story which is happening here between the DDCs to this TCP IP. They are different kinds of protocols. They must need a translator to translate their language to the TCP IP cloud. So here it comes the role of router. This is router. Here from DDC to DDC, these cables are different kinds of cable, right? 3-wire cables. They are not Cat5 or Cat6 cables, of course. Okay. So if Suppose these all DDCs are connected with the BACnet protocol. Okay, BACnet over MSTP, master slave token passing. Suppose these all DDCs are connected with the BACnet protocol. So to convert this protocol, the TCP/IP, we need a router. So these all things are connected with router, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or many routers there can be. From the router, Cat5 or Cat6 cable or fiber optic cable, it is connected to the TCP/IP cloud. But in between, we have switches. It is connected to the switch, and this switch is in turn connected with the TCP/IP cloud. And from TCP/IP cloud, we get the data to our workstation, right? Suppose we are using Modbus. Suppose we are using this protocol Modbus to all this DDC or with some of the DDC. From Modbus to TCP/IP, we cannot use only router, okay, because BACnet and TCP/IP are they are compliant. You know, there is one layer of BACnet over IP already embedded here. So from BACnet to BACnet over MSTP to BACnet over IP, we only use router. Suppose there are some DDCs which are connected with the language, with the communication protocol Modbus, right? So from Modbus, suppose these DDCs are connected with the Modbus. So from Modbus, we need gateway, and from the gateway to switch, and from switch to the TCP/IP cloud. Then only we can convert these languages to this language, and we can get all the data of the system here. So here now we have learned here the kinds of cables, the kinds of protocols, and how they are talking with each other to get the data all the way from the field devices to the workstation. We are using here Windows system in the workstation. How these types of applications we can see on a Windows operating system? It is not possible to see all these types of things, real-time data on the Windows operating system. So for this we have virtual machines. So virtual machines are inside these servers. First we run the virtual machines here. After we run the virtual machines here, and first we run the virtual machines here, and we have here simulators. So simulators also vary from vendor to vendor, from company to company. Suppose we have Honeywell. So for Honeywell, we might have different kinds of simulator. For Johnson Control, suppose we have the controller of the Johnson Control. These all systems here installed of Johnson Control or Schneider or Siemens. So they will have different kinds of simulators here, right? For Honeywell, maybe here Envision simulator, Envision for backtop. So with the help of virtual machine, we use different kinds of application software, or you can say operating system here, Envision. On Envision, we are able to get all the real-time data like temperature, pressure, flow, and etc., all the data of all the systems right from the field to our workstation. So by doing this, we are able to control and monitor everything inside the facility, mechanical system, electrical system, or extra low voltage system, fire alarm system, CCTV system, everything we are able to control and monitor from this workstation. Let us the workstation, and here we go. This is the workstation in front of you. Here you can see all the system. We are using Envision for backtop application software or a virtual machine of this operating system. So here you can see all the air systems, water system, plumbing system, miscellaneous systems, air system, air handling, FCU, VAVs, and you can read these types of systems. chill water system, hot water system, MRI, pumps, everything, every system of this building is interfaced here on the human machine interface. From here we can monitor and we can control all the systems inside the building just with a click. Now let us open one of the system. Suppose this is a chiller system, right? So you can know the status of the chiller, either it is disabled or it is running. You can know the status of the valve, either it is closed or it is open. You can know the status of the pumps, either stop or running to run the chillers, right? From this graphics you can know the status of the HU, air handling unit. In HU you can see the status of the damper, either it is open or it is closed, exhaust fans, supply fan status, and all these field devices parameters, temperature, sensors, humidity. From this graphics you can know and you can monitor, you can control from this graphics all the system right from your desktop, right from your workstation. This is a water system. Suppose we have two tanks and these are pumps which are taking water from these tanks, right? So either the tank is full, what is the level of the tank, or either it is empty, either a motor is running, either these pumps are running or not. All the status we can, which is interfaced over this workstation, and we can control and monitor of that system. So I hope you have learned the overview of the BMS system here. Enjoy learning. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching.